So yes, as you can see in the video title, yes, we're going to speak about monsters, I guess, and I'm going to make it a quick introduction because I don't have enough footage as I realized later. So we're going to make this fast. So yes, we're going to speak about it. So let's get into the video, I guess. So I remember some time ago I mentioned that I wanted to make a video about like all shows that I used to see, and well, today's the topic is ghost stories from the anime that was streamed on Tsunami on Cartoon Network. So I was reading like about the Jeju Island, and I stumbled onto some myths related to Korean folklore. Uh, Unfortunately, I could not find the full myths or at least like the translations, and that reminded me about like this show that I used to watch in Tsunami, like I said before, like very late at night, which was Ghost Stories. And in the show, there were some really awful stories, as much as some very like I guess like not so bad, I guess, and that made me read and get interested more into like a Japanese yokai or myths associated with them. And I realized that some Japanese ghosts are kind of like and weirdly like polite in a way. Uh, and I will show you like my first like button, I guess, my first like example to defend like this point. So let's start with it. So the first one in the show, it was called like Akami Aokami, but the real name will be like Akamanto, which I thought was kind of hilarious due to the images that I found on Google. So I will, I guess, recommend you to look into it like on Google. And it's like a type of male ghost that haunts the bathroom stalls and supposedly wears like a red clock. It's kind of like, you know, Morpheus in the Matrix, like he will ask you if you want a red paper or blue paper instead of pills. And in other versions, it can be like a piece of cloth or like pergamene and something like that. So if you choose red, you'll be injured to the point where your body will be covered like in your own blood. You will turn like red. And if you choose blue in one of the versions that I read, if you pick the blue one, the ghost will drain the blood from your body until you turn like in blue, like from a blue color. If you try to outsmart like the Akamanto, the ghost, he will still kill you, as it says. For example, if you request for like another color, like purple, he will choke you until you turn into like a purple color. And if you choose like yellow, he will, you know, your head will be flushed down the toilet, and or you'll be dragged to the underworld. So I don't know if this ghost has like a way to kill people for each color of the, you know, spectrum or of the rainbow, but yes, at least you don't use any color to try to escape. If it says from what I've read that if you want to escape, you have to like ignore the ghost, which I thought was like hilarious, like you can get away with it, or simply you can say like politely to him that you don't want either of the papers, and it says that he will leave you like alone. So that's it. So I guess next ghost. So it wasn't a ghost, it was a yokai, the next one, and it will be the Kappa. So the Kappa has been used, and I think you already know it because you've seen it like in animes, in mangas. But yes, for some time now, it's been used as a warning from to keep children like away from water or from water like bodies in an attempt like to avoid for them like to drown into the water. Some said that this mystical like creature was like inspired, was an inspiration from the giant Japanese salamander. And from what I read too, also in China they have like obviously the giant Chinese salamander, and it also has their own like story behind it. So in this case, like what's the Kappa? Kappa is like a kind of humanoid turtle yokai that is described like to have this like mischievous behavior, as much as like this particular obsession with politeness that will come in handy when I try to explain my point. And it says that their naughty like behavior can go like from very like harmless like deeds to extremely like malicious things, like trying to draw someone or trying to draw like an animal. So it says that they can be like from a green color, blue color, and they have like these whip hands and turtle-like carapace. Also, the most important part is that they have like this cavity on the crown of the head where they store like water, which is as well where the life force like resides. So how do you get like rid of a kappa? So that's when it becomes like funny or becomes like you question it, and you must like greet him with a bow. So as he like returns the gesture that you made, he will end up like spilling the water that is like on the his crown, and he will become like weak. So there are other ways like to try to escape or drive away a kappa, like sometimes it says that you can use food like ginger, also like pulling one of his arms, which seems a little bit too drastic. And one time I read that if you still like the cup that you are like busy or have no time, they will just leave him. They will just leave you alone because you know like Japanese politeness. So next, next on the list we have the kuchisake onna, or the am I pretty, you know, lassie. Well, in the show, they say that if you want to like get rid of her, you have to say to her like, "You're ugly, and I don't want to look like you or be like you," and she's supposed to leave you alone. But in reality, when you contrast the like real life version, you're not supposed to do that. So if you believe in ghosts and you believe in this, then don't do that because, and I'll tell you why. So back on the story of this lady, it's told that she's like a vengeful ghost, and it's in one of the versions of her history, her mouth was slit by her jealous husband, and since then she uses like this mask or piece of like fabric or cloth to cover like her disfigured face. The legend goes like as follow, or like the tale goes as follow. The lady approaches the potential like victim and ask them like, am I pretty or am I like beautiful? And if you as a victim answer like no, well, she obviously will kill you. And if you say like yes, she will remove the face mask or the piece of cloth that covers her mouth and show you like her injury, and she will ask you one more time like, am I still pretty? And if you say no or you start screaming, well, she will obviously kill you. And if you keep on saying like yes, she will disfigure your face in a similar way like to her. And the question now will be like, well, how can you escape then? You know, and well, there are many ways in the show, as I told you before. If you call her ugly, she's supposed to like leave you alone, but don't do that. But I remember hearing and reading that if you ask her if she's like okay, she will get like confused, or if you tell her something that it's not related, she will get confused too, or if you throw something like hot sweets or some pennies, and she will start like picking them up, and it's just like ways of like distracting her. If you try to run away, she will outrun you, so don't do that. So yes, that's today's video. I'll have to be a little bit more rushy because I don't have enough footage as always. So I hope I don't come out as offensive or insensitive. I didn't mean it like in a way that youkais of the Japanese culture are like dumb or anything. It's just like an interesting topic to me, since I remember reading back then, like read also about like myths and legends of another country, and it was very fascinating because they were extremely scary, and it made me actually scared too of going to like the woods and of certain things. And in the contrast with Japanese like youkais, it was baffling because the ones that I read when I was younger, they were extremely violent. There was no way for you to escape, and yeah, you were pretty much screwed if something like that happened. But it was interesting that even the Japanese ones were still like scary in a way. They will remain like polite, or they were like these ways for you to escape, or they will be like, okay, I'll leave you alone. And the same like with the kuchisake on I remember reading too that if you ask her like, sorry, I'm busy or I'm running late, she will leave you alone too. So it was like very baffling. So that's my point, and I hope you enjoyed. So I guess have a nice day then, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you in the next next one.